Good evening, cult members. Welcome to Pop Culture Cult. I'm Sean.
I'm Janice.
And this is our Doctor Who review of The Witchfinders.
Not the Witch Hunters.
Not The Witch Hunters, which is what I tried to pull up before.
Witchfinders.
Witchfinders. This is episode 9. 8. Hold on, there's math. I was told there was no math. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
8.
This is episode 8. And this one had to deal with King James, his Bible, witches,
and
aliens?
prisoners.
The idea behind this episode, at least from my point of view, was another example of them leaning into the Doctor being a woman. And they were talking about how women were being oppressed during the 1500s for being witches, and the book that was written, it was called Demonology,
monology,
which was written by King James, and it was essentially like the study of demonology and how to find out who were women,
right?
Essentially, women who were witches and all that stuff,
right? I don't know that I feel like it was blatantly trying to point out that the Doctor was a woman. I felt like it was a little more, here's where being a woman is inconvenient for the Doctor.
Yes.
Because she even says, if I was still a bloke,
If I was still a bloke, I could get my... I could just get on with the job without having to defend myself, which was a great line, by the way.
Right. It kind of felt a little, they don't celebrate Thanksgiving, obviously, in the UK. They're giving thanks for us leaving.
Right.
But it kind of felt a little Thanksgiving-y because it was, the hat.
Time period. Yeah, it's totally that time period.
And the witches, which reminds you of Salem, which is...
Yeah, I didn't put that together, but I could lean into that a little bit. Yeah. I think overall the episode's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was, it was, kind of the campy Doctor Who alien.
Yeah.
This thing.
The tentacle thing, yeah. Yeah, the head of the lands was killing women with the whole, if she drowns she's human, if she floats she's a witch, and then we'll hang her, which is a funny line from Monty Python, but was what really actually happened in the period. Yeah. And then they bury the women who were drowned, who were accused of being witches, and then this alien spacecraft was leaking its ooze of people, right? And they were possessing the bodies
so they could store them.
That part was like, okay, it's a stretch.
And then maybe came this.
It's a stretch. But the idea of the alien prisoners that were on the ship possessing the bodies of the dead, I like that concept.
Right. They were being stored in the tree or whatever. And
right.
She cut down the tree and let them loose, and so now they were just oozing into the ground.
Yeah. And I like the idea that they were seeking revenge on whoever was next, or whoever was around them, for putting them in this prison. Right. And it just happened to be that it was on Earth, at Bilehurst Hill. And the race itself was called the Morax. And I had to actually go look it up because with the heavy accents at times I heard Borax, Bellax, Porax, Bellax. What?
Which is kind of like is it the Morok, which are the things that live under the earth in H.G. Wells' Time Machine.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Morlocks?
Yeah, Morlocks, something like that. That would make sense.
This one was kind of like the David Tennant, Amelia Pond Rory wasn't in it, where they landed and then went underground, and the people, the aliens who had been underground for all this time.
Oh yeah, that's how we get Drax and not Drax. Yes,
Yeah.
the lizard people.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is her name?
And
we're terrible Doctor Who fans.
Amy and Rory were over there watching the whole thing happen or whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, this one kind of felt like that, kind of alien stuck in Earth for thousands of years.
There's the one with Capaldi and Clara, 12 and Clara, where the Romans and they have to defend the gate.
Oh yeah.
And then the Roman Legion, the Ninth Roman Legion goes. Oh, that's not Clara. That's Bill. Because Bill's saying, "I know where the Ninth Legion is," and they find this gate and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's under the earth and stuff like that.
On the hills of.
They died of Scotland, which is the best line. But this episode, we've digressed into other episodes of Doctor Who. But yeah, this one was I'm gonna love watching. I'm gonna really enjoy watching this one again. But I'm not gonna be like, ooh, I need to watch this one again. Like I wasn't like, I had fun. It was cool. Alan freaking Cummings as King James. I mean, come on. It's like perfect casting.
Yeah.
It's like they looked through the scrolls of all the manuscripts and everything of King James and said, look, it's Alan Cummings. But this is just not one that I was like, I'm like harping at the bit to go back and watch.
Yeah. This probably won't be like on the list of favorite all time.
Rosa, the one, the demons in the Punjab,
yeah.
Those ones will be like,
but this one was fun. It's not a skip, right?
This is definitely not a skip episode. Yeah,
episodes of every season that we're like skip.
Yeah, there's been a couple of those already this year. There was a couple things that also happened in this episode. Graham made a point of saying that Team TARDIS has kind of a flat structure of who's kind of in charge. They all kind of defer to the Doctor, but him making a point of saying we all kind of have our jobs and we all do the jobs and we're all equal.
Yeah.
And then the Doctor refers to it again later on in the episode.
Yeah.
It's a nice little homage to show that the team is equals. They're all equals, no matter if they're 900 or 2. They haven't really set her age right now. Space alien or a black guy or an Indian woman or a white guy. They're all equals.
Right.
And
I would like to see Ryan take over more in an episode, have an episode where he is.
I agree. I don't think it's going to happen this season, but I think it's going to be like maybe a setup for the end of next season.
Okay.
The setup this season going into next season.
All
right. I'm leaning into Graham quite a bit.
Yeah, well, Graham has taken over, older white guys, so in situations like this episode where it kind of defers to him, Jodie is, obviously the Doctor is going to, and then Yaz has had the ones with her family, and the demons of Punjab or whatever.
Yeah.
She was kind of, because it was her culture or whatever, so I would like to see Ryan kind of have one where it was he was
him kind of taking the lead. Yeah. His kind of, it kind of had that in the last one with Kerblam, where he was a warehouse worker. He's worked in a warehouse. He knew to kind of go from point A to point B and understood the basis and stuff like that. But that one doesn't feel like as impactful because it was an Amazon episode.
Yeah, and everybody seemed like they had their little part to play in that one. So.
This is also another episode where we learned something. Back to Doctor Who being a children's show to teach about science, except this one is another episode we learned about history. I looked up the demonology with a book and learned and was reading about that during the commercial breaks, and then at the next commercial break, I brought up King James and everything, and I had an idea who he was, but I wanted more clarification and stuff like that.
Well, they referred to the Doctor talked about his mom
and his regents and all that stuff,
and all that, and he said Mary, and then during the commercial break, we looked it up,
Right,
and
right.
Mary, Queen of Scots, was his
And
mom.
this was also the one of those episodes where the doctor says at the beginning of the episode, remember, we're in history. You can't deal with anybody and make them change who they are. And by the end, they had dealt with King James and changed his whole philosophy of the world.
Which she just keeps doing
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
episode, which is that's gotta have some consequences. Like,
It's either it's either consequences, or they're going to have to explain it somehow of does it they've kind of I'm actually thinking this out as well. We're talking about it. They've dealt with this before, where they've talked about how the doctor showed up and changed history to the history that we know.
right, but she's doing it in almost every
Yeah,
episode. So
yeah.
it's like, why do we keep bringing it up and then doing the opposite?
Doing the opposite, which feels like a setup for a time agent, another Time Lord. I feel like the Time Agency is going to come in at some point in time. We've already had a reference to the Vortex Manipulator, and so if we're gonna if we have that kind of reference, and we have mentions of the Time Agency in there, it feels like that would be something where they come in, they're like, listen, you need to stop doing this.
Right.
Which would be a really cool point to bring Captain Jack in to kind of save her from the Time Agency as the end episode.
Right.
For this season, or the New Year's special.
Or she does, or they do something that just really messes up time and
Right.
makes her have to, because all the doctors have had where they have had to face the consequences of their actions.
Yeah.
And have had to.
Capaldi lost his memory. Tennant Smith had to defend the planet of Christmas for 300 years. Tennant had to go by himself for a long time. So so all of them had to deal with their part. And although right now it's all like little things, which is the setup of what Chip Noll was going to say how this season was going to be, but I'm seeing more and more things where they're going to be connected. Maybe not at the New Year's special this year, but maybe connected into next season.
Yeah, maybe.
And so that's kind of where we're at. Speculation responsibly, by the way, but also just a really cool, fun episode for this week.
Yeah. Yep.
That's our thoughts on this week's episode of Doctor Who called The Witchfinders. It was a lot of fun. Go watch it. What did you guys think? Leave us your comments on what you think of the new Doctor, what you think of Team TARDIS. Still not really comfortable with that, but we're getting over it. Team TARDIS, yay! And let us know your thoughts on this season so far. Like this video and subscribe to the channel. All of our social media stuff is in the bio.
In the bayou.
In the bayou. In the bio. You know what I know. Just, yeah. And good night now, cult members.